David Kobina-Smith will take his place on the board as experts for exporters, especially those in the agriculture sector, in order to help them compete favorably on the global market. He cited that some information deficiency affecting exporters. He lamented that the fact that there isn't a central point where all information pertaining to the necessary permit required for export in Ghana could be obtained is a problem that needs to be of ETCs for trade facilitation, but called for intervention that will bridge the knowledge gap for SMEs that will position them to succeed. If you just join us, you're listening to Maritime and Port News. Shanghai's major container port of Yangshan has suspended terminal operations as Typhoon Yangmo approaches the East China coast, state media CCTV reported, citing the local Maritime Authority. The Maritime Authority has raised its emergency response level while it reads measures against Yangmo, which has strengthened into a super typhoon with a maximum wind force of 52 meters per second, according to data from the China Meteorological Administration. Ningbo City and Wushan City in nearby Yanjing province will close schools on Monday. Ningbo has also activated its highest level of emergency response. The typhoon is tracking northward towards South Korea and western Japan. Based on its current trajectory, it's unlikely that Hangmong will make landfill in Yangshan or nearby areas, although China's east coast is likely to be struck by heavy winds and rain over the next 3 days. The typhoon has affected airline arrivals and departure in the nearby Japanese prefecture of Okinawa. Japan Airline Corporation said that so far on Sunday it had cancelled 78 flights affecting 3,930 passengers, while ANA Holdings Incorporation halted 27 flights affecting 1,280 people. Taiwan's Central Weather Bureau also warned of extremely heavy rain in some areas and that vessels sailing in the north of the island should be on their guard. Freight rates on the main ocean trade route are sinking during what is typically the industry's peak season after cargo owners shipped holiday goods early and inflation dented consumer demand. The cost of ship a 40-foot container from China to the U.S. West Coast now stand around $5,400 a box, down 60% from January. According to the Freightos Baltic Index, a container shipped from Asia to Europe cost $9,000, 42% less than at the start of the year. The rate for both routes, while still above pre-pandemic levels, peaked at more than $20,000 last September. Market conditions have made a sharp reversal from earlier in the pandemic. Freight rate jumped roughly tenfold in 2021 because of supply chain disruptions, port blockade, and a surge of cargo left importers scrambling for space on box ships. Some big retailers, such as the Walmart Incorporation, reached negative 0.5%, even chartered their own vessels to get around bottlenecks last year. This year, Walmart and other retailers ended up with too much inventory after they raced to import goods earlier than usual, anticipating shipping delays and demand that didn't materialize. Manufacturers too moved goods earlier than usual. Apparel sellers such as Gap Incorporation, toy makers including Hasbro Incorporation, reported spring surges in inventory levels that normally occur closer to the holidays. In our final story, container shipping earned a mind-altering $63.7 billion in profits in the second quarter, according to industry veteran John McCohn's tally. The second quarter of 2022 now marks 7th consecutive quarter of records of the highest net income ever for the industry. The $63.7 billion is up $35.1 billion, or a 123% improvement from the same period last year, which was the highest quarterly net income ever for the industry at the time. Compared to the first quarter of this year, net income was up 8.5% or $5 billion. In the report, Macon writes that the container shipping's upturn over the last 2 years is one of the most pronounced performance changes ever by an overall industry. What makes it even more remarkable is it came on the heels of 12 years of negative overall bottom line following the 2008 financial crisis. He said the container industry has literally gone from being at or near the bottom in terms of overall industry performance. Another interesting tidbit from the report: container shipping's second quarter net profit came in 145% above fund profit, an acronym for Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, and 76% higher than earnings behemoth Apple and Microsoft combined. As to what's causing these enormous profits, Macron points to further contract rate gains, which far outweighs any decline in spot rates, which only represent about 10% of the containers moved worldwide. On this note, we'll wrap up this morning's edition of Maritime and Port News. Maritime and Port News is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Shippers Authority.